Hey, what's going on? Hux21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So I'm here with part 2 of just going through the Gladius cards, talking about them for those who are unfamiliar. If you missed part 1, I highly suggest you go back and watch it. It is the ability with it is the video with the new ability thumbnail on it, and that is because we are getting a reward summoner, it sounds like, most likely, with a new ability called Conscript, which will allow that summoner to play one Gladius card. If you don't know, these can only be earned through participating in guild brawls, so if you haven't joined a guild yet, now is the perfect time, because these are getting more and more heavily involved in the game. And basically what I did in part 1 was go through fire, water, and earth splinters, covering these cards, showing you which one's my favorite, so you can help prepare for when this new summoner comes into the game. At some point this month, I think by the end of the month, we'll have the new reward cards. Alright, so we left off at life, and let's go through it. So first we have Helmet. What a first name. So this is a non-attack card. You can see, I've never actually used this card. I think once I get it to level 7, which won't be for a while obviously, is when it'll start having some utility for me. You have to remember, right, we're assuming this summoner is going to have no other abilities except for the ability to bring a Gladius card. So, when we go through these cards, you have to remember, if I'm going to be playing one of these cards, I'm going to be giving up using a different summoner. So effectively what I'm doing is choosing to play a specific Gladius card and foregoing whatever other summoner ability I would play, right? So you have to have a very specific use case for that Gladius card to pick a summoner whose only ability is to bring that one card, right? This summoner's ability will not affect the other cards, we're assuming. If it does have other abilities, then that completely changes what I'm saying, and that's, you know, an incredibly OP card. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, I'm just going to assume that that's its only ability. So Hugo Strongsword doesn't look like much. I have it level 4, right? At the highest levels, look at this guy. For 5 mana, you got 3 with self-heal, enrage, got a decent amount of shield, armor, and the shield ability. So here's a card, right? If you have melee only, if you have super sneak, then I could 100% seeing you want to play this card, right? Once you level it up. You toss this card in the back in a super sneak rule set. Melee only, you know, put it up front, put it in the back to defend against sneak. You know, there's some specific use cases where you're going to want to play Hugo Strongsword. So this is a card that would sort of meet the threshold for me where I'm like, okay, this is good enough in certain contexts where I need to have this card out there. Okay, so now Ajax Lightfoot's a weird one. It's not anything crazy until like the end. Right now we're talking 4 damage for 4 mana, 7 speed, 6 health. For 4 mana, that's a good sort of package of things here. On top of that, you give it dodge and phase, and it becomes really, really hard to hit. So how I would potentially use this card is put a Dr. Blight actually behind it, right? Hopefully Ajax gets a couple Bloodlusts. By the time it moves to the front, it's even faster. You know, maybe it's got 2, maybe it's 9 speed, 8 health, with dodge and phase. And so now it acts like a late game tank once it moves to the front. So yes, the attack would get buffed via the Bloodlust and it wouldn't be able to attack from the front, but it'll become borderline unhittable, you know, if it triggers Bloodlust a couple times. And then you'll just have your Dr. Blight sitting behind it with the camouflage, hopefully cleaning up the rest of the match. So I could see this card, you know, it's low mana enough where you could have some interesting plays. Captain Katie for guild brawls is an amazing card from the time you get 1. So I play in normally bronze or silver guild brawls. And having this 3 magic attack for the snipe is an absolute game changer. I mean, it definitely gets better at the higher levels. 5 attack is fantastic. But this is a card right off the bat. 1 copy makes a huge difference in your brawl deck. In terms of, is it worth foregoing the rest of the summoner? I would say yeah. I mean, if you're doing 5 snipe damage with magic, 5 magic damage in general is amazing for 7 mana. But you can catch people off guard with this snipe. So Captain Katie is a great card. Then we have Marisol Contuma. This card's a beast. Again, a card where right away it's a beast. All you need is 1 copy, 4 attack, 5 speed, good armor and health. But at the highest levels, it's another situation where we get a trample reach monster. You can see where they've sort of played and test things before, where now there's a Rift Watchers trample reach monster. But look at this at the highest level. 6 attack, actually ends up being 7 attack with the Inspire. And it's a reach monster. So, this looks like a main tank, right? But no. This is going to sit in your second position. So this card's absolutely phenomenal. And the legendary card for life is actually a support monster. It reminds me a bit of the Truth Speaker with the Cleanse and the Tank Heal. I use this card an okay amount in brawls right now with the Shield Bearer. Sometimes alongside the Truth Speaker to get the double heal. But I could see this being a useful card, especially as the Truth Speaker moves into Wild, right? That'll be in probably 4 to 6 months, but still, this could be a card where you play it with the Uriel, the Purifier. So this is a card you're going to want to have. It's a support card, so like the Bloodlust is a little meh because of the 1 attack. You're probably not going to trigger Bloodlust. But bringing a support card with Tank Heal and Cleanse, obviously a good thing. Alright, on to Death. And as you can see, there's only 1 dragon and 1 neutral, so this will be a little quicker than the last one. Whistling Damon, I've never really paid much attention to. It's fine. 3 mana, 4 attack, snipe, piercing. I get it at the highest levels. Actually gets the piercing at silver. It's just one of those. I don't think I'm ever going to pick the summoner to specifically play this card, right? I just don't really see that happening. Then we have the Witch of Warwick. So lower levels, this is I liked using this sort of when I first started playing in guilds, and I still do, sort of bronze, silver. My biggest gripe with this card is eventually I'm going to level it up, and if we do get to the highest level, it never gets that 3rd magic attack. That 3rd magic attack with the Life Leech is huge, mainly because you're going to bring in 2 health. So, I wish it just started with it got to 3 magic attack. Obviously, we know how deadly the Affliction Poison combination is. So that's great. It's a useful card. Good card. Again, I'm not sure if I'll specifically pick the summoner to play this card. Same thing here with Bane. Don't know. Okay card. Nothing to write home about, sort of through silver. The Retaliate's kind of nice. The Enrage makes it good, right? Like now this is a good card. A lot of health. I'd probably really only play it in, melee only because of the Retaliate. Maybe put it in the back, so maybe I can get some Retaliates on some sneaks. Yeah, fine card again. I don't see myself playing the summoner to play this card. Next we have Trap Fallaway. And this is a card I could see myself playing. In a specific, so this is the only other card besides the Howling Alchemist with Howling. It gets it in gold. I could see myself playing this card in, Opportunity, Melee from Anywhere, Super Sneak, just because it does an insane amount of damage, even before you talk about the halving, for 4 mana. Absolutely nuts. True Strike 2, you don't have to worry about it missing. Again, talking about melee from anywhere, having the big tank up front, fantastic card. Great card. I love Trap. Use it all the time. I've actually never used this card, but you know, this is just a beast of a tank. It reminds me a little bit of Legionnaire Alver, except a little bit beefed up, right? Better attack, has some better defensive traits. Does have the Void armor, so you're gonna have to go through all of this armor. Not sure if you know, I guess no range. I mean, no archery rule set. I would toss this out there for sure. So yeah, there is a use case where I would really want to play this card. This card in with no archery is insane. All right, 2 more cards to wrap it up. First, we have the Dragon. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to mention. So in the first part of the video, I said that the Summoner was most likely going to be neutral because they would want you to be able to play it across and with any card of any Splinter, right? I don't think they'd want to tie it to a Splinter because you'd really be limiting the Gladius cards you could play. I did say that that would mean you wouldn't be able to play the Dragon card, which is right here. I don't own this card yet. I really want to own this card, Larissa. And someone pointed out in my comments that why wouldn't they just make it Dragon? Because then you could play every single one, including the neutral. And that's probably true. And we do have some precedents for a Dragon promo summoner. So we go to promo summoner. We have a lot of promo summoners. You know, right here, 4 of them have been Dragon, right? So there is precedence for a promo Dragon summoner. This is going to be reward, actually. And there is precedence for reward Dragon summoner. I think that's the only, yeah. So we've only seen reward Dragon summoners. So the promo is not what I meant to say. The reward. So we've had Dario was a reward, Kretch was a reward. So I would not be surprised if this new summoner, which we know is going to be a reward, is a Dragon. Okay, so last 2, let's talk about Larissa. I don't own this. I can't talk about it from a, you know, experience standpoint. What I can say is the double strike magic with the chance to Bloodlust is crazy. So level 1, the problem is Magic Reflect, you know, you're getting crushed. You're gonna have a tough time with Magic Reflect. You get to level 2, you throw the Void in. If your opponent doesn't have Amplify, you won't take any Magic Reflect damage. So you send 2, you're supposed to take 1 back. The Void gets rid of that 1. So you actually won't take any damage if your opponent doesn't bring an Amplify. And then obviously at the top level here, getting the double strike blast with magic damage is crazy. So a bit of a glass cannon. You know, obviously it's going to be a little difficult to protect this card. You know, there's not a lot lower than 3 health. So you're going to have to bring some, you know, some taunts or whatever to protect against opportunity. It's susceptible to blast damage itself, right? It can give off blast damage at the highest level. It can also be eliminated very easily with blast damage. So this is a high risk, high reward card. It's a card I want though. You know, obviously this card, when used correctly and in the right context, can be very, very, very powerful. And last but not least, we have Tatiana Blade. I love this card. Super Sneak, melee can attack from anywhere. If I can't use Quora Tower Shed from the last video, I'm using Tatiana. So I want to level this card up really bad to get to level 3 so I can get the Inspire for everything. But this is a really, really fun card. So the reason why I play it in melee from anywhere, so it already has close range, right? So when it does move up to the front, both attacks are going to trigger, which is awesome. But it just doesn't have that much health, so you can't really play it as a main tank. It's pretty fast right from the start. It gets up, you know, it gets the dodge, it gets up to 6. So no magic rule sets as is, right? This is a card you're going to want to play. The 2 archery, obviously, so if melee can attack from the back line, 2 archery is pretty meh. Like, it's going to be hard to trigger the Bloodlust. That's why specifically Super Sneak and Opportunity is the best time to play this card for sure. Elite card. My second favorite Gladius card behind Quora, which we covered in part 1. And if you missed sort of my Quora rant, I think it's worth going back to check out. Okay, so I just want to go through the Gladius cards for you. I know not everyone participates heavily in guilds. If you don't, now is the time to do it. They've made it clear that, guilds, one of the main ways besides land for them to, get rid of DEC. It's a massive DEC sink. They are going to reward people. They already have with the SPS rewards. They are going to continue to try to reward people who participate in guilds. So if you haven't yet, now's the perfect time. As I mentioned in the last one, I have my own with my alt account. If you're interested in joining our guild, we have a couple spots left. Come into my Discord and ask me about it. I'm pretty responsive. Love to answer any questions you have. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop it there. Hope you're enjoying your day. I will talk to you guys soon and see you around the game.